TwitchCon did not go well, and we're going to talk about it today on the episode of Legal Mindset, where we teach you to be your own judge. Of course, I'm Andrew Esquire, American attorney. I'm back after a short break. It's good to be back with you guys, and it's good to have some time
good to
for
see you
myself.
back, Legal Mindset.
So let's get right into it. We've got, of course, a PP for you today, a nice PowerPoint.
Yeah, boy, I love seeing his big PPs.
It's actually several issues that are really compounding for Twitch, some of which we've been talking about on this channel for a very long time. So, of course, the main one, the one that everyone's talking about, and the kind of main
Emiru.
death knell I'm seeing here for Twitch is the Emiru assault. And that is due to the failure or lack of security at TwitchCon. She was denied her own bodyguard. There was an assault. An individual came up and attempted to hug, grab. And that is a major, major issue, particularly since we know that Twitch has had security issues in the past. Then we had a bunch of bungled mistakes. Some reports that she was forced to unmask herself in front of certain people.
VTuber was forced to reveal her name and face in front of a rather large audience because Twitch just, for whatever reason, are stupid.
In order to identify herself, and then cutting that meet and greet short. So a lot of problems there. Then you've got Hassan, the golden boy of Twitch, under pressure, which once again, while not happening at TwitchCon, happening around the same time as TwitchCon, indeed is not good for Twitch. That's their golden boy. That's Dan Clancy's favorite, and that's an obvious problem for them. And then the last, and one of the most important, is the lack of moderation.
Wouldn't that be kind of crazy? I said this before in a prior video, and I'll say it again. Hassan has lived a very privileged life with rich parents, and then he started streaming, and he knew people inside of Twitch that really helped boost his discoverability on Twitch. Bro really has never had to work for anything. He pretty much had it handed to him, right? Wouldn't that be hilarious that Twitch's golden boy decides to roach out over a shot caller incident and leaves the streaming space altogether? Wouldn't that be something? Because you know, a lot of the people that watch Hassan are the same people that are down protesting Israel and Palestine stuff. And now that the Israel-Palestine war is over, they need something else to bitch about, right? So why who else to better alienate than the one man that talked about it the most?
Twitch content.
The irony is real.
Content, which perhaps is the most damaging and puts them in a category along with Roblox in terms of potential regulatory action. So let's start with Emiru's claim. So obviously, if you saw in the video, and most people have seen the video, you can watch that in my live version, which we go over everything and all the video, all the facts. But if you saw that, you saw that, hey, she had concerns. She has a history of stalkers that have come after her. There's a massive history of security issues at TwitchCon and with Twitch events in general. And therefore, there are several causes of action that she could pursue. First, there's the general negligence theory. So that's essentially broad negligence for failure to detain the individual. They just let them walk out.
That's what kind of gets me, is they let the dude walk out like it never happened, and they didn't even try to detain him until Emiru's manager pressed for it. Just the general lack of giving an absolute shit blows my mind. You do realize that she was just essayed in public on your stage, and the least you could do is act like you care. Just the general lack of
coordinate with law enforcement. Really, they bungled that overall. But beyond that, there's a more specific negligence done. Significance. This is not something they spins, and it's normal, and it's a sign of the times. And streamers can control their community. That doesn't work. As an organizer, when you put together an event, you have a responsibility for that event to be safe, particularly if there are known risks. And streamers are at risk when they're out there, not just from parasocial fans, but people that might want to hurt them or harm them. That's obvious.
I mean, that's the whole reason why Hassan didn't go and Asman didn't go. Well, Asman's not going to go because he's a homebody, but Hassan didn't go because he's actually receiving death threats, especially over the recent stuff that's going on. And let's be honest here, if you have a single brain cell, you know for a fact that Twitch's security isn't going to protect you. That's why they didn't go.
Obviously something that is out there. And then you, of course, have breach of contract. So there may have been safety provisions, and I don't know this. This is my speculation. There may have been some provisions in her contract. So if I was her agent, or if I were her himself, I would go to a lawyer and say, hey, look, is there anything in my contract here that was breached? Because it very well may have been something breached in that contract. The last one, though, and I think this one is the most poignant, is the post-incident handling leading to intentional infliction of emotional distress. I think a lot of things, such as them joking about this.
Who knows what kind of stress she's going through now? Like, Emiru is probably going through stress and like PTSD she didn't even realize she had until like a couple days late. Like post an event like this can be altering to somebody's mentality and their psyche in a way that they don't even realize it was. Like when you start waking up in the middle of the night in cold sweats, ready to fight somebody, like what Decoy Voice was saying, you don't even realize that it fucked with you until it starts fucking with you. Like, your brain is a very powerful tool, and it could be one of your biggest weapons against yourself.
And, otherwise minimizing it. I think that is absolutely harmful for her, given her history with stalkers. She has a long history with stalkers. It's a known thing for her. And I think failure to do that, inflicting someone with that emotional distress and then taunting them, adding to that fire, definitely makes these viable. So I think that if she goes to a lawyer, these are all things they should look at and consider. Maybe they don't go with all of them. Maybe they just go maybe negligent security and IIED, intentional infliction of emotional distress. But these are all things that I think are very viable for Emiru. Let's get into Chibi Doki. This is one that was brought up on my VTuber lovers. And
Chibi Doki is the we watched a short from her. She was screaming, oh my god. Oh, the hippo girl. I can't even think of the name, bro. I draw a blank. Moodang. That's Moodang girl. Moodang! Moodang! That girl.
One where Chibi Doki's event, and very beloved VTuber Chibi Doki,
she had to dox herself
short, so not everybody got to see her. And that's because they were concerned about safety because the line was too long. But beyond that, they also botched the event in terms of the wristband. So they gave her a wristband to enter, and they wouldn't actually let her enter. They had to send her over to the desk to get permission to enter. And at that point, some people have reported she had to unmask herself, which, of course, for VTubers, which have a very, very specific security and financial interest in remaining anonymous, number one.
A lot of people don't realize this. Here's an example. So, Cry. For years, Cry was a YouTuber that only had he had like a little cutout mask, and it was like a piece of paper with his YouTuber like logo, which was like it was like a white face. And for years, nobody knew what his face looked like. And then he revealed himself, and he started losing viewership almost instantaneously. People lost interest. Being able to stay behind the mask keeps people interested. So her having to reveal her face to staff and to some of like the people that are like on stage and stuff, it can ruin her career.
And obviously, just like
and not to mention, some of these people want to stay masked because they don't want to be able to go out in public and have a bunch of people chasing. It's annoying.
Their identity, if they choose to remain anonymous, and put them at risk, put them at massive risk. But beyond that, if you're thinking about these people financially, VTubers financially, a lot of them base their entire strategy, their entire monetary strategy, on not being unmasked. So if they're forcing a VTuber to unmask himself, to reveal himself, that is something that could...
She's doing better than me, I would have left. I just would have left. I'd have been like, okay. And then I would have left. I wouldn't have risked. Because the thing is that because she unmasked, that's going to hurt her image. And to be quite frank, I'd rather be hurt on Twitch and then just leave the event and go home and get a bunch of phone calls from Twitch than to unmask myself and risk not being able to take off on any other platform. because it's just a Twitch thing. So if she were to go home and she were to make a bunch of YouTube videos and start streaming on YouTube and start doing stuff with Kick and other platforms, she could do so knowing that she has other platforms that she can fall back on, that Twitch isn't the only option. That's why Asmongold is setting up all these other streamers to go to other platforms. That's why. And I think that if I was in her shoes, I wouldn't have doxed myself. I would have just went home. Seriously, I wouldn't have even bothered. If they don't want to let you go up onto the stage, even though it's an event that's already like, you have your wristband, you've done everything you were supposed to do, I'd have just went home. I wouldn't have doxed myself. Absolutely
undercut
not.
Their actual financial stream, their model, and therefore I think there could be some financial damages there as well. So let's go over Hassan. This is one I really find interesting. So at the exact same time this is happening,
I bet we could find a video of what happened.
Several videos of Hassan kind of hitting his limit where he's saying, I'm just tired.
Actually, you know what? I think that was it.
Model.
I don't think there is a video. I think this is it. The staff have been lovely for the most part. It wouldn't let me enter and told me to walk all the way to the help desk. Enter my, because their wristbands. Yeah, this is it right here. I think she only made a tweet about it.
And therefore, I think there could be some ending his limit where he's saying, I'm just tired of streaming. Nothing's working. No change, no real change is happening. You see him out here with his dog and he's walking wearing a bulletproof vest with a press label on it.
Oh, so he did go to TwitchCon. I think XQC is going to be at TwitchCon as well.
A chevron on it, walking around a very, very peaceful city. And people are obviously pilloriing him for that. I will say this, and I am obviously taking a different route, and you've seen this with a lot of my coverage of Somali Vitali, where even the people that are my enemies, even the people that don't like me, I still say they deserve a chance, they deserve an option to do good, to be forgiven, to choose the right path,
and that, my friend, is what makes us different from them. 100%.
Good path. Even Hassan, I'm willing to look past all the defamation that he's done and say, hey, Hassan, for the best, and I can say this myself, having just taken a streaming break, it's one of the best things I did in my life, to just take a solid break where I just didn't.
You wrong for that. You wrong for that. He's got to wait for the cannon fodder to be done with the damn dog incident. Collargate must end first. Don't go on vacation until Collargate's done. You will ruin yourself. Don't do it. Wait until Collargate's over with, then take a nice week-long break. Wait till that stuff dies down. It will die down. Let it die down.
Internet for several days. That actually was quite good. And one of the things I did do during that time was do some charity work. I actually gave some a beeper as Collargate. Very, very Pavlovian training. One actually suggested to me that they do it as an armband or on the dominant hand or on the wrist. So it shocks somebody there if they go to do an action, which would be very, very, very Pavlovian training for Nepo baby who's never seen anything real. Instead of
Yo, I love Legal Mindset.
Going out,
just call him a Nepo baby because he is. Hassan's a Nepo baby, bro. He's getting worked up and threatening to quit streaming over one trending drama. It'll go away, bro.
GQ or whatever else. He needs to go out and actually help people, and maybe he'll be more fulfilled, and maybe he'll actually, go down a better path. But of course, we can only hope, right? We can only hope.
Yo, so I know this may never happen. It may never happen. It may happen, may not. But one of the first things that I would love to do if I started making a lot of money on YouTube, and I said this to my fiance, I was like, the one thing I want to do, and I don't want to record this, I wasn't even going to talk about it. I'm going to be completely honest. But I wanted to go and door to door, and without recording this, and ask people if they got their rent paid. And ask them if they needed money for groceries. And then pay for it. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to go door to door, house to house, apartment to apartment even, in neighborhoods that were nowhere near me, so no one knew who the fuck I was. and asked them if they needed anything taken care of. Straight up. That's what I was going to do. I don't like donating to charity. I think that it's a tax write-off for rich people. And I don't want to work at a soup kitchen because I don't feel like it's going to help me. But I know what I needed every single day. Whenever I needed something, it was fucking money and rent to be paid. Or like a bill to be paid. Or something to be paid off. So that's what I was going to do behind closed doors. Straight up. And I was even going to maybe even hire a group of people that would be willing to knock on doors and ask them if they needed something paid. Straight up. As I'm tired of all these rich motherfuckers that sit on their high cast iron fucking thrones with all this goddamn wealth that they never fucking spend. They've amassed such an amount of wealth that they will never fucking touch. Even Charlie disabled all of his subs, your ability to sub to him and donate money to him. He's got it up so high that he's trying to deter people from doing it because you make so much money from just the ad revenue alone. There's no sense in it. There's no sense in hoarding wealth. It solves nothing, and it destabilizes an already destabilized economy. Give back to your communities. They're the ones that are lining your fucking pockets, you jackasses. If you pay their rent, then they can take that money that they would have spent on rent and go buy products. It's not fucking rocket science, you dipshits.
Now, let's go here with moderation. This is a big one, and this is one that I'm very interested in, particularly as I think it's heading down the Roblox route, essentially, because with recent tests, which I've seen others run on Twitch, with starting a new channel and trying to stream whatever, including very vile content that would not be acceptable on most other major platforms, stuff that would get you banned immediately.
No, so check this out. You know that furry dude, the one that had the diaper and the pacifier? I actually got a community guideline strike on Twitter for posting that. Twitter! I got a community guideline strike on Twitter for posting that. And I was like, damn, even Twitter knows what's up. I wasn't mad. I was just like, damn.
Well, all of that stuff bypassed the filters. All that stuff got on Twitch without any moderation. It's taking action. Issues at once. Once again, it's not going to happen tomorrow. It's not going to happen next week. But this can be the death spiral for Twitch. This could be as they go down or as they get hit. My conclusions here are Twitch is facing the Twitch ecosystem.
Did Twitch get hacked?
My conclusions here are Twitch is facing all of these issues at once. And because they're facing all of these issues at once again, it's not going to happen tomorrow. It's not going to happen next week. But
I feel like what's going to happen is this death spiral for Twitch is already kind of kicked in because they're losing viewership like crazy. They're almost back to pre-COVID watch hours. I feel like the final nail in the coffin is going to be if they go to court, the Supreme Court, and they fail. That's going to be the final nail in the coffin for Twitch. I can almost promise you. Because now Amazon's going to have to pull resources to send somebody to the Supreme Court to deal with Twitch's BS. And I guarantee you, if it doesn't go well for Twitch and Amazon, Twitch is going to be answering for it by Amazon.
This can be the death. Of course, you also AI, maybe a human manipulate, aka Dan Clancy. So I think the time is. I think there will be action. Emiru definitely should bring a claim. Definitely should try something.
I think Emiru should sue Twitch. She should. They said that it would be safe for her to go there, and the way it was handled was so bad it could have given her long-term PTSD. And I feel like she's entitled to some financial gains from it. I do.